welcome to this month's School of Light class. So today I'll be channeling the Palladian Collective, and today we have Elma. Hi, Elma.
Hi.
All right, so before I bring them in, I'm going to read out a message that I channeled previously for them about the purpose of coming through today. So this was the message. They say, you are on a collective journey within a dimensional existence of energy. You as a collective are exploring energy adjustments within the very fabric of your human essence, of your bodily form, and your expression of such newly integrated energies within your reality existence. These shifts are part of the collective plan to activate a further dimensional exploration within the energy systems of the universe. We wish to come through as a guide in sharing insights into pathways through this new dimensional existence, which you have now collectively attracted into your human life experience. These pathways of exploration in such new dimensions in your current awareness are new avenues to express God Creator abilities that have now been heightened to match the frequency of the new playground you have entered. Allow us to shine light on these new abilities in your perceived new frequency-based reality to allow you to explore more of your limitless powers. All right, so that was the message that they came through with. So obviously they like to come through and talk more about frequency and dimensions and how this is all playing out in our physical reality and the Great Awakening, which is occurring now. All right, well, without further ado, I will bring forth the Palladians for you. Welcome. We are the Palladian Collective. We come through with one mind, one voice, as one. What is occurring on your dimensional existence is very expansive. What is occurring in the universe right now is programming, is energy influxes that is creating an effect on the earth plane. It is creating an effect in your collective consciousness and in the programs within your perceived individual consciousness. They are energy codes. They are created to assist the collective to assist in all that is. Rise above limiting programs that you as a collective have asked to explore in different timelines in your existence, in your perceived history. But within those soul contracts, within the collective, you have also asked to remember your oneness state. Now, this will take time in your perceived perception. Who you are in a oneness state is already existing in your reality. You have just attached yourself to certain programming, certain dimensions that exists in duality consciousness. It's all part of the expansion programs that is intertwined within the collective consciousness mainframe, which is connected to you and to your brothers and sisters and all that is, playing this expansive journey with you. What occurs here is impacting all that is. What occurs in your perception of elsewhere impacts what is occurring here. It is all part of the master plan. It is all part of the plan that you have entered, that you have willingly entered, that you have co-created together with your brothers and sisters as a collective with collective soul contracts. Within that, you have decided to play even more specific roles within that in relation to your own unique soul contracts in your terminology. Currently, in this time of great awakening, as you have called it, there are many shifts occurring. Many of you are feeling these shifts. You are seeing these shifts in your society. You may see this as fear manifested. What you are seeing is we would say in your terminology, a removal of these programs. It is a releasement from the collective consciousness. And as it releases from the programming, one must witness it because you chose to, we would say, face head on these programs for it to be transmuted fully out of your collective consciousness. So this is what you are seeing. You are seeing this emergence of this fear programming that you have held onto in the collective consciousness, and it is being released and transmuted. And as it becomes transcended through you, it will be experienced within the collective consciousness as it becomes transmuted. But you still need to do the work. As you do the work, you connect to the collective consciousness. You connect to how society perceives fear and interacts with fear due to your frequency, because you are plugged into the collective consciousness. You are one. You only perceive yourself as individual, but you are forever one. You breathe as one, your heart beats as one, but you perceive separation because of the dimension you are vibrating in. You have asked for oneness consciousness, so we are assisting you to release what no longer serves you, so then you can vibrate in oneness remembrance. It is just one step, but with this step you must release the fear programming. So you as a collective will see fear until you can transcend that within your perceived individual programs, until the collective no longer needs fear, until a point where fear does not control the human collective. And at that point, fear will no longer be needed. And at that point, the soul contracts in relations to fear programming will no longer be needed. And you will then enact other parts of your soul contracts in relations to oneness remembrance. It is here when you will meet your galactic brothers and sisters. It is here when you will be able to be at a frequency as a collective to remember who you truly are, in accordance to the collective contracts, in accordance to the oneness dimensions which you have reached. It is just one part of the collective journey. It is one step in your perceived individual journey. You being here right now are playing a vital part in this game of this transmission of fear into oneness remembrance. You are highly advanced, and this is why you're here. And this is why you chose to be a part of this expansive journey of the human collective race. It is our honor to come through in this way. We are love and we are you.
Thank you.
What would you like to discuss with us, my dear one?
I want to ask if how to avoid, or how can I help those surroundings that are still in fear or addicted to feel fear.
How you assist others who are in fear is to be the example, is to raise your frequency. It is not about trying to change other people's perception, because if you do this, you're in a vibration of fear yourself, because you're in a vibration of control. It is about being the example. As you increase your frequency, you become that light bearer. And because you are connected to your brothers and sisters, they will be able to absorb this light, to activate their own light, to allow them the tools and the abilities to manage their own fears. Can't you see? You are all interconnected, and you do not have to control others' experience for you to assist them. Do what you were guided to do. If you were guided to, we would say, write a specific post, to provide a specific message, to do any certain creative endeavors that will assist, then do this. This may assist others, but do it in relations to your guidance, what you're inspired to do, not what you think in your ego mind may assist others. Do it from a point of guidance. Do it from a point of knowing. Receive the guidance. Does it feel good to do so? Then do so. When you receive this guidance to do certain tasks, do certain activities, there may be an aspect of fear here, because you may be worried how others will perceive this. But if you are able to push past this fear and to still do this act and put it out there in society, even if it's on a small scale or a large scale, that is up to you in relations to the guidance you receive. And as you do so, those who resonate, those who are ready to transcend further fear will receive your message. Those who are not ready will not even see the message. If they respond negatively to it, then it is still there for you. It'll be triggering them for a reason, to release programming. So there is nothing wrong you can do in relations to this. It is about you and your own fears and putting certain projects out there that will assist with others. But first, it's about embracing the guidance that comes to you and acknowledging the fears within you, knowing that it is okay to feel fear, because this is part of the human collective contracts, but you are able to manage it and you are able to push past the fear, in knowing that there are gifts there in fear, in knowing that as you transmute fear, what remains is love remembrance. What remains is oneness remembrance.
Thank you. I'm making a note. Okay. So, as of now, as this, for example, the coronavirus, I think all countries are affected. So, but they are still watching news. So, what can you advise for the humanity about coronavirus?
It is a purge. It is a releasement of fear programming. Many are not conscious of the fear programming within them. Because the fear response can be quite intense with those who have not addressed their fears, it is allowing them to feel the full force of this programming. They will have a choice because it will be impacting them in such a way they will need to make that choice to choose love for their own health, for their own state of mind. Many people have fear within them, but because it is at a mild point, they disregard it. They do not address it. Because society has accepted fear, because society sees that fear is a normal response. For you to be in fear in certain scenarios is conditionally acceptable. So people use this in their interactions and in their daily experiences. So you see, this virus is there for a reason. It is allowing those of you who even have a mild program of fear to address it. Because the fear of others is further triggering your fear. The mass panic, the hysteria that you see, the governments, the media, it is all there for a reason. The coronavirus is not the issue. It is the fear response. It is how you manage the fear. And the people that do suffer from this coronavirus in an intense way, because for the majority, it will not be experienced in a severe way. But those who do, those who may transition from it, it is all part of their soul contracts. They are meant to receive this. They are supposed to leave this earth plane in this way. They are playing an important role in the collective consciousness contracts. They are playing an important role for the expansion of the human collective race. They have chosen it because they're highly advanced. So this allows you to release fear, knowing if you are supposed to receive it, and if you are supposed to have we would say, an interaction with it that creates an intense fear response within the body that expresses itself in the body in an intense physical manifestation to a point that you get severely sick or to a point where you transition from this earth, then it is part of your soul contracts. You can have comfort knowing that those of you watching this chose something else. You chose to be the light for others. The human collective consciousness, the human race, needs to experience this level of fear. It is in preparation for them to remember more of who they are and to remember more of the collective, to remember what is truly out there in the universe, such as the galactic ones. Many of you know of our existence, but there is still much programming in your society that if our presence will be known to you in your physical reality, there will be a similar hysteria or more. Because our appearance, our existence in the overt way will trigger many fears within the collective. This can be for many reasons. It may be because of the religious conditionings or just other conditionings that they have adopted into their belief systems about who we are and what we stand for. It is a power that the human collective may fear because they may then fear they are not in control. When someone feels they're not in control, it can activate a fear response. So for our arrival in the overt way, for you to know in the overt way in your society of the galactic brothers and sisters that are assisting you in love, you need to release more fear programming. And this is part of the contract why the coronavirus is existing. There are many stories within the illusion of why it's existing. You call these conspiracy theories. But D1, this is all part of the illusion. Rise above this. For the majority of the human collective, they may not be ready to hear these words, that this coronavirus is for them. But because you are highly advanced and those watching this understands these words, and you're at a frequency to understand that all is perfect, that all is occurring according to the collective contracts of the human race. You chose to be here in the time of great awakening. You chose to be here to experience this transition from fear to love. And because you are here in this transition, you will experience fear, but you will also experience love. This is journey of the human collective race, which you are a part of in this time continuum. Know that you and everyone that is existing on the earth plane has the ability to overcome this fear response. But one has to look within them, not look around them to others who are also in fear. If they do not address the fear within them, then this fear on a mass scale will further activate them until they can face their own fears, until they can go within, until they can release what no longer serves, until they can let go of control. Humans want to control their conditions. And because in a human perspective, this virus cannot be controlled. And because it cannot be controlled, people then get further triggered into the fear response. It is a releasement of programming. There's been stages of this programming, such as the fires you have seen in Australia and other countries. It is all part of this process. Many of you have felt that transition, the purging of the unwanted programming through your individual felt body. Now, those of you who have done the work is now transmuting for the collective. Now you see this in the collective, and all you need to do now is maintain your vibration, maintain the frequency of love, maintain the knowing that you are always protected. Know that you always have an important role here as a light worker. You would not be here otherwise. You would not be watching this, listening to this otherwise, if you are not playing a vital role in the expansion of the collective consciousness. Now, we know this can be difficult to comprehend, especially if you know people who have contracted such a virus in your terminology. It is a fear programming manifestation. People that have suffered in your terminology, people who have even transitioned from it. If you're in the middle of this, it may be difficult to see this higher perspective. But for the majority of you, you will not see this. But just know, if you do witness this in your reality, it's part of their soul contract. And thank them for their journey. Thank them for playing the role that they are playing, for their sacrifice in your terminology. They have chosen to exit the earth plane in this time continuum, in this dimension, in this way, to serve a higher purpose, to serve the expansion of the human collective race. It takes a very advanced being to take on such a contract. And this is the same with other people who transition from the earth plane, from other sicknesses, illness that is affecting the collective consciousness, that's affecting the awareness, such as what you call as terrorist attacks, what you call as events happening on a large worldwide scale. They are playing a special role in this time of great awakening, and they are highly advanced, even if they do not or did not see this on a conscious awareness front. They are playing that role for you and for all of the collective. So let go of this fear, and instead of focusing on trying to change the conditions, focus on gratitude. Focus on the gratitude and being grateful for all those who played this role in this game. Use this gratitude to increase your own frequency of love and acceptance of what is and what is part of the human collective contracts. All happening for you, for the expansion of the human collective race. It may not feel like that because you're in the middle of it, but you can already see around you the reporting of the events. There is much light-heartedness that is going around in your society. You are seeing humor being attributed to it, jokes, in your terminology, the social media memes, that you can see there is already a lift. There's already a transmission of some of this fear already. You are already seeing this. It's just one step at a time with the human collective race. And certain structures in your society to hold on to control. So this is why sometimes, even though the human collective or certain groups of individuals within society is ready to let go of the fear, is not fearful in relation to the coronavirus, there will be some portions of society, such as your governments, such as we would say power positions in your society, where they are still attached to much control because they know it means they will lose more of control, and that is triggering for them. Can't you see? It's the very paradigms of society, the governments, the media, ones that has been in a state of control, been able to present control, being able to influence a state of control and fear. The whole paradigm is shifting. So allow them to do their own journey, allow them to express the fear, because they will be expressing fear because it's part of this paradigm shift and it is necessary. So be thankful for them for playing this important part in the paradigm shift, and accept that what is occurring is happening for you. You may not be able to fully understand it from a human comprehension, understanding, because of your current frequency. Because of your level of understanding due to your soul contracts. You do not, as a collective, wanted to remember what is occurring with the coronavirus because you wanted the fear response. This is how the collective raises above it. This is how the collective consciousness transmutes this fear. Can't you see? It is just one step at a time. If you see in your perceived history certain events that has happened in your timeline that creates a collective fear response, can't you see it's been getting more intense and intense and intense? It's allowed you to deal and manage the fears in one step, to allow you then to manage the fears in the next step, and then the next step, and the next step. And it's culminating in this event that is occurring right now, which you call as the coronavirus. No, it will get easier for you as a collective. So concentrate on your own frequency, act on the guidance and inspiration. Do not worry about how others will take it, because others are still in fear. But those who are ready to reach the next step will resonate and appreciate your guidance. For whatever you put out there, it is for them. Either way, if they are triggered or if they appreciated of their guidance, it is for them. All you need to do is listen to your guidance. But if you're in a fear response, it is difficult for you to hear the guidance. You need to be in the present moment. And what fear can do, fear can activate you to vibrate in dimensions of your perceived future. This is not where your power lies. You worry about what if, what will happen. Stay in the present moment and you will receive the guidance for the next step for how you can assist in the collective.
Thank you.
No, there's no accidents here. It's not by accident that you were born in the country that you were. It is not by accident that the people chose their countries, because they did choose it. They chose their parents, they chose their country of birth, knowing that they would go through these soul contracts. So for those countries who may have a lot of cases, a lot of fear, it is there for a reason, and you chose it for a reason. You chose to experience this event in that country within these certain conditions. Because you are powerful, because you are so advanced, you can manage this. You'll have the power. All of you have had the power. The power is within. If it's challenging for you to manage the fears in relation to this, then for a moment, you may turn off the TV, change the channel. What makes you feel good? Practice on raising your frequency. There will be a point where you can watch the news, watch the fear-based programming and not let it affect you. But some of you may still be very vulnerable to this. So go with what is right for you. Fear programming exists within the collective for a reason. You wanted to expand. You wanted to expand from duality to oneness consciousness. You wanted this expansion. You wanted to express life with the full power of who you truly are. You are reaching that point of time in the collective contracts where contact will be made. And as a collective, one must be prepared for this. As you deal with the fears in relation to this event, because of the releasement of fear, the collective will then be ready to meet their galactic and brothers and sisters. They will be more ready to understand, to acknowledge those remembrances coming up to the conscious awareness, and ones that are shown overtly to them that they are not alone in the universe, that they are powerful manifestations of Source. People have been conditioned to be small, but this is all part of the soul contracts. Being small is not who you are. Being fearful is not who you are. You are powerful, love-based beings. Powerful, limitless beings. The reason you are here existing in the middle of this outbreak in your terminology is to show you how advanced you are. You could have chosen any period of time, but you chose this time. And only the most advanced of beings were able to come through and reconnect in your terminology to exist on the earth plane in this time continuum. There are many shifts, and it is all for you. So let go of the fear. But first, use this fear to go within. What is it triggering within you? Are you fearful of your safety? What are you fearful? Are you seeing separateness? Are you seeing duality consciousness? Is this triggering you more separation? You can see this in society. More people are becoming more separate from one another because of this. It's part of the shift. Only to remember that they are one. People are isolating from each other. This is all part of the shift. This is all part of the purge of duality consciousness. It is fear programming. This will bring the collective together. It is a journey. It is just one step at a time, but it will occur because it's part of your collective contracts. So know you have the power to manage the fear and manage the fear in others if you are guided to do so. If you're guided to provide no information, no guidance in a overt way, then so be it. Follow the guidance one step at a time. Know that you are your brothers and sisters. If you are disheartened or affected by seeing people that are ill, or if you are disheartened, or if you feel fear in relation to the media response, government response, society response, then use this as a mirror. What are you judging? What is the fear programming within you that you have not released, that you have not addressed? It can be easy to judge in this event. Judge others, judge the media, judge each other, judge the hysteria. Judgment is a form of duality consciousness. It is not who you truly are. But be gentle on yourself. Everyone is being affected in some point, whether it is triggering judgment, whether it's activating or triggering fear, whether it's activating love. There are all many different colors of the rainbow here, many different vibrations of the frequencies of fear and love. And everyone will be impacted in some form, but it is for you. When we say everyone will be impacted, it does not mean that everyone will receive this virus. It just means that everyone will be impacted by this event in some way. So use this to look within, to release the judgment, to release fear. Fear is not your enemy, it is your teacher. What is it showing you about yourself? What is it showing you about your vibration? And release. Use compassion. If you're having difficulty to judge the hysteria and to judge others in hysteria, use compassion. They are not in the frequency to have this information, to have this insight, and that is okay. They may be experiencing a high amount of fear. So use compassion in their response. When there is a fear response activated, people act in ways that may not be perceived as a social normal response. It is a flight and fight response that has been programmed in the collective consciousness, that's being transmuted. So be compassionate with the response of others in relations to this fear. It will affect others in many different ways. And this is part of their own unique soul contracts. Know that they are you. If there is judgment there, then what are you judging about yourself? Use this as a tool to go inwards, not to judge the outside conditions, not to perceive the outside conditions as wrong, as unwanted. You as a collective chose to explore this. You knew it may be challenging, but you are highly advanced. Because you're highly advanced, you are able to manage this. You have all the tools and the abilities within you to address the fears in relation to this, to overcome this, to expand through this. You are the light workers, you are the way showers. All you need to do is shine your light by going inwards. Was there anything else you'd like to address today, my dear one?
What else? Okay. How about the animals? Can we feel that the virus too? Or is it possible that they can be affected for that virus?
Everything is interconnected. The animals will be impacted in some way, as they are attached to you. They are assisting the human collective contract in their missions. They are your guides and they are your supporters, and they will continue to play this role for you. They have chosen to express life in animal form because they're here to assist the human collective. so you can give up the resistance that if they are impacted, it is for them, it is for their soul contracts. If you feel grief and saddened by how it's impacting the animals, then show compassion. Practice using compassion. Some people can be more compassionate to animals than they are with the fellow humans. So allow this to draw more compassion in your everyday life. Compassion to the animals, compassion to your brothers and sisters. It is a frequency of love. Know that they are more affected by the human response, by the fear response. They are very sensitive to energies. They are very sensitive to the fear that is being expressed in society. It is a releasement. They are highly advanced beings in small bodies. They're here to assist you. Show them love. Know if their behavior changes around you, they may be picking up on your fear response, on your energy. Use them as a point of contact for you to receive love, to feel love. If you cannot feel it within yourself in this point, if you cannot feel love within the collective in relations to the event that is occurring. They are a beacon of love. They are a beacon of hope for you and the collective. So what is occurring to the animal collective is connected to what is occurring for the human collective race. They are here to assist in the soul contracts, in the collective soul contracts of the human race. Use your guidance, use your inspiration to act in a way to assist them, but not because they need assistance, but because you want to share love with them. They do not need to be helped, just like your brothers and sisters, for this is a form of control. All you need to do is express your love because you're inspired to do it, because you're guided to do it. Once you're in the present moment, you receive the guidance in how to do this, whether it's with your fellow human beings or whether it's with your animal folk. You are one. You are one with your brothers and sisters, and you are one with the animals. You're one with Gaia, with all its elements. You are one with all that is. You're one with us, with the galactics, with the world, with all the universes, with Source, because you are Source. You are Source manifested. And we are here lovingly assisting you, not because you need it, but because you wanted this extra guidance. It's part of your collective contracts. You wanted us to come through as separate expressions as Source to allay these words that you already know within you. It is a reminder of information that you already know. By these words, they are activating the remembrance of this knowledge that you already know within you. And because what is occurring right here on Earth will ripple out and affect other worlds and other galaxies and all that is. It is a grand expansion shift. Never has it ever been experienced in the timelines of the human being. This is why so many of us are here supporting you and observing you, ready to make contact overtly in the collective when you're ready. Know that we love you, for we are you. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we finish here today?
Okay. I wonder if this coming July or August will be the Olympic here in Japan. So wonder if what will happen, or
what will be, will be. If it doesn't go ahead, it is perfect. If it does go ahead, it is perfect. Remember, there are programs of fear here, and especially in society, institutions have much fear that they are holding on to because they are fearful of letting go of their control. They like to control the conditions even more to allow them to feel powerful as an organization, to be a useful part of society. Now, we say they're not intentionally doing things in a wrong way in your terminology. They are doing things in accordance to society and to how society interacts with this fear programming. So whether the choice to go ahead or not go ahead relates to how the virus is expressed in the human collective, and this depends on how the collective manages the fear. The virus will stay as long as the human collective attaches to the fear. If the human collective chooses to let go of the fear, there'll be no need for the coronavirus. It has done its job. Let go of the concepts of control here. Everything is happening for a reason. If it doesn't go ahead, then this may spark a activation within the collective consciousness that will create further triggers, further activations, further realizations, further releasements of programs. It's a paradigm shift. And if the Olympics were cancelled, this is a major paradigm shift in we would say, in terms of society within the illusion. It is a small paradigm shift in this regard, but this can ripple out to create further effects. It may trigger further fears, or it may not, depending on its actions, depending on how well the organization manages its fears and states of control. There is a point where decisions can be made and the decisions have not been made. It can swing any way. So accept both sides. Accept if it is going to be cancelled, or accept if it goes ahead. If it is cancelled, if it goes ahead, whatever occurs, it is for the human collective. Even if they are acting on fear, it is part of their soul contracts. Even if they're not aware of it, the individuals within that organization are there for a reason. They are playing the roles within the organization from a higher perspective to play an important part in the expansion of all that is. There are, we would say, collective contracts, and then there are individual contracts in your perception of individual that play their own unique roles that interlink with the overall soul contracts of the human collective race. We understand it might be beyond the human understanding, but trust that all is perfect, and whether a fear response is triggered or not, it is for you for a reason, for you to realize how powerful you are and that you no longer need fear. You are on that stage of the human collective journey where you are in the stages of letting go these attachments of fear, because you as a collective are already vibrating oneness dimensions, but you are so, we would say, caught onto this fear programming. You still linger in this because you've used this to assist you, and because it's part of your belief systems. It takes some time to let it go, but it is being released. But for it to be released, it needs to be triggered within you, for it to come into your awareness of what the fear is and how to transmute this into love. So everything that is occurring in your society is happening for a reason. It is happening to allow the human collective to rise above the fear, to embrace the fear, to see what the fear is teaching them. And once they can do this, once you can see the gift within it, then fear will be released. It will no longer be needed. And then you'll remember more of the oneness, powerful being that you are, that you all are, for you are one. And then you'll be ready for the next stage of the human evolutionary journey. And you are ready. You would not be here otherwise.
I feel lighter hearing these messages. Thank you so much.
It is our honor. We understand that this can be very challenging for those of you in the human collective race. Being a human, you are attached to fear programming. You are attached to fear programming because you chose to expand through duality, to remember your oneness state. But you do not have to dwell in the fear. You can embrace the fear. For embracing the fear will show you who you are, will show you belief systems that no longer serve you or the collective. It's about going within one step at a time, not just in relations to this virus, but in all aspects of your life. This is a fear response on a mass level, whereas other fears, when you're triggered, you may not address it. So this gives you the opportunity to address your fears and your limiting beliefs around control and around duality and around you not being the powerful being that you are, because you are that. You're a source manifested. We are one. You are much more than you can ever comprehend. And it is our intention to come through to remind you of this. You already know this, but you have just forgotten. As you release the fear, you'll activate the remembrance within you, one step at a time, in accordance to what you call as divine time of who you are. It is with our love that we come through today. Know that we are you and we are one. Farewell.
Thank you so much.